Hi guys, SDJRSNF88 speaking with another update on the Garden Railway. And as you can see, the new extension is really coming along nicely. Plenty of work has happened since the last update, which I will show you in a bit more detail now. So before any work could be carried out on the extension, the track plan of the main layout had to be modified to accommodate it, which meant removing the whole of this section here, including the station and passing loop. So what I did is I took the track up right from the start of this corner here to the pair of points right behind the locomotive there, and basically there was no track there whatsoever, which gave me total sort of free space to position the track, get it all level, and figure out where to add these two new pairs of points. So the first pair has gone in right on the start of the corner there and leads off along the long straight along the front, and the second pair has gone in about halfway across the station passing loop. Now while the track was also removed, it gave me the opportunity to add the isolating sections. So now this curve here is isolated along with the passing loop itself, as well as the straight run through and also the extension itself. So that's 4 isolated sections. Now if I were to go run a train now by connected up, not an RC1, one that would run off the track power, the trains would not go basically operate in any of this area or on the extension. All the track is now completely dead thanks to these little isolated fish plates, which are added to one rail on one side. So we've got this rail here and that rail there and so on and so forth. And basically they will need wiring up to a switch box, which is on order, and when that arrives it will be positioned next to my controller. I'll put the controller on a plank of wood along with the switch box, wire it all together, and then when I want to operate the layout, I just bring the board out with the controller and the switch box on, plug in the wires from the isolated sections, and then I'll be able to basically switch on each section and basically provide track power to those isolated sections, which means I can stop trains finally in the station and have another one running around the extension, which is, of course, what I aim to do from the start, and hopefully it will provide a lot more fun when running. So with the new points in place, the extension continues off the straight there and continues along this beautiful long section which goes through the cutting, which has been added in the previous update as you saw, and then leads on to the curve which goes around the back of the tree there. Now what we'll do now is we'll hop around the back of the garden and see where the railway leads to on the other side. So continuing on from behind the tree, the railway goes around this beautiful sweeping curve. It then leads into this short straight section. Now originally this was going to be an S-bend, but I'm so glad that we could fit this short straight section in, as it gets rid of the sort of the pinch points, as I would call it, providing a much smoother run for locomotives and stock. And it has also provided a location for a pair of points to be added, and this siding has now been positioned in here. This was something I thought I would never be able to have got in the area, but clearly with that little section of track there, it fits in very nicely. Now it's only being supported by a flower pot at the moment, the siding, and it will be properly attached in at a later date. But as you can see, it fits in there quite nicely. Do let me know what you think of it. It has got that little curve in there. This is so I get a bit more length in there. So it's now long enough to store the American Mogul and a big coach and maybe a 4-wheel coach attached. So it basically has a bit more potential for storing stock. I'm not going to isolate it. It's just a siding that I could use to put stock on the track, and also just store wagons if I want to swap over a rake for a passenger rake, goods rake, ECT. And also it does provide potential as a live steam siding. So if, as I've mentioned in the past, live steam locomotives visit, this is a great little area where they could be sort of steamed up and prepared, purely because we've got the concrete path here, so it's nice surface to sort of kneel down on, and it just really gives easy access. So I'm really pleased with that we can actually fit one in, and I think it looks the part there. But the actual main railway itself continues around the back there, and of course joins into the passing loop, which is where the little yellow loco is sitting there. So I'm really pleased how it's all fitted in, and of course the next thing for all this is to actually start bedding it in, which I will quickly briefly take a look at now. Right, so we're back on the other side of the layout, and I just thought I'd quickly show you on how we have laid the track. So the first thing to do was, of course, dig out all the soil, which you've seen in the previous updates. Then on top of that, we have added this sort of netting. Now this fabric is like a weed net basically, so you put it down and hopefully it will stop weeds from coming up from underneath it. Now this fabric was only £1, and it was a huge, great, massive sheet, and it has done the whole extension, which is amazing, and there's still some spare, which is brilliant. And basically what we have then done is we have then cut a slit in sections where the track's positioned to, and we have created these wooden stakes, which are then hammered into the soil. Now, on top of this fabric sheet, we have then started piling up lots and lots of hardcore. Now this is sort of leftover builders materials and stuff like that. It's really just ground up stone and sand, and basically this fills up the base of the track, so I don't use up much of the ballast. Of course the ballast is a lot more expensive than ground up stones and dust and all this and all that. And another thing is, if the railway is removed in the future date and we want to return this flower bed back to a flower bed, the hardcore is easily removed. As you can see, it's all loose. You simply just shovel it up and it's gone. So it really is recycling at its best, really. So once that's filled up to about there, we then finally add the chip-ins, which you can see from the current section there, and then you basically have it. All the water from rain should drain into it, and with the new net, which of course we didn't add in the previous section of the track, the weeds should not be a problem anymore. So anyway, that's how we actually lay the track. It may not be the correct way. There are other ways for laying it in certain areas, but for us it's worked out perfect. It gives us a bit more movability. That's another thing as well. With the stakes, they sort of move a bit, which of course allows the track to expand and detract and sort of thing when in the heat. Of course, if you leave it all solid in place, the track starts to warp. But with this method, it allows it to move freely, and and hopefully stops kinks and other things appearing in the future. But of course, if you would like to see a tutorial on how to do this, I am willing to film a little video for it. Of course, the siding needs to be added, so I'm planning on doing it over there. So please express a comment if you're interested and would like to see a little video on that. But anyway, for this update, I believe that's all for now. So I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully a bit more progress on the railway in the future. So I'm going to finish off this video quickly with a test train running around the railway, the first ever locomotive to take a trip on the new extension. It's of course an RC locomotive, as I mentioned. The tracks are dead for electricity with the isolated sections. So I'm just going to quickly go get the RC controller, and we'll see the little yellow diesel shunter make its first trip around the railway. So this has been SDJR Sunf88 speaking, and thanks for watching.